Good morning everybody. So in the last class we have discussed about C programming. So today we will continue with the remaining things what we need to discuss. The last class we have discussed about tokens. So there are different types of tokens like keywords, reserve words, variables, identifiers and so on. Today we will be discussing about declarations, how to declare the variables. Yes, declaring a variable, how to declare a variable. So each variable use must be declared. Yes, so whatever the variable you are going to use it should be declared. Without declaration you cannot use any of the variables. So syntax is like data type, variable 1, variable 2. So data type, it can be any one of the following, like it can be integer, it can be character, float and double, any one of the following. And variable 1, variable 2, any number of variables, like it can be I, j, num, sum, total, average and so on there. Yes. So declaration announces the data type of a variable and it allocates appropriate memory location, as we have seen in the data types. So if you declare the data type as a character, one memory is allocated in the one memory is allocated. So 1 byte of memory is allocated, and if you declare the data type as integer, 2 bytes of memory is allocated, and float 4 bytes and double as 8 bytes, so on. And no initial values should be assumed. Suppose if I declare integer I, so I is not equal to 0 there. So you can initialize it to 0, but you cannot assume that the value of I is equal to 0. So you can use I integer I, but the value of I is not equal to 0. So always whenever you are using the variables, you should declare it of a particular data type and you should assign the value, initialize the value to it. Like for example, integer I is equal to 0. If you do not initialize it, so it may take the garbage value, that is the old previously assigned values. So initial value should not be assumed, you should assign initial values. Yes, it is possible to assign an initial value to a variable in the declaration itself. Example, data type variable is equal to expression. Example, here we have seen integer sum is equal to 0. So the sum is a variable of type integer and the value we have assigned it as 0. So character new line, that is backslash n, is a new line character. So it is of type character, and float epsilon 1.0 in 10 to the power of minus 6. Yes, that is what we have assigned the value here. Yes. So sum will take for variable sum 2 bytes of memory is allocated, for new line character 1 byte, and epsilon variable of type float 4 bytes of memory is allocated. Yes. Next, in declaration also there are different types. User defined type declaration. Suppose there are, as you have seen, there are already 5 types of data types are available. In addition to that, we can have our user defined data types. So see, suppose a feature known as type definition that allows users to define, we can define our own data types. Now in the sense, like we want to have a particular set of variables of a particular type, it may be of type integer, character and so on. An identifier that represents an already existing data type. So we can have the variables of a particular type, may be of integer or float or double and so on. Yes. So syntax is type def, type identifier, where type def refers to an existing data type, like for example it can be integer, an identifier refers to the new name given to the data type. So like you want to have marks, integer marks. So type def becomes integer and type becomes what you can identifier becomes marks. We can see the example here. Example, type def is a keyword, we need to declare that. Type def integer units and type def float marks. So here what it means, so units is a user defined data types, yes, and that is unit symbolizes integer and mark symbolizes float. So, we can have, instead of having integer units in our program, we can use units batch 1 and batch 2, where batch 1 and batch 2 are of type integer type. Instead of having instead of having integer, we can define it as units. So, why we have already declared units is of type integer, there already we have declared it here. Yes. Next, similarly, we have declared marks of type float, name 1 of 50 and name 2 of 50. That is, batch 1 and batch 2 are declared as integer variables, and name 1 and name 2 are declared as floating point array variables. So, the square bracket of 50 indicates an array. So, we will be discussing about arrays later part. So, just for time being, you can remember that is a name 1 is a array variable. Yes. Next, what do you mean by a variable? So, we know how to declare, we have studied how to declare a variable. We have seen that it may be of type integer, we need to assign, you have to use the data type, the variable name and some value for it. Now, what do you mean by a variable? Variable is a data name that is used to store a data value. We want to store some value, maybe the names of the students, maybe the values, salaries or marks of a student or whatever it may be there. So, for storing the data we require some variables. So, without the variables we cannot store the data at all there. So, a variable is a data name that is used to store a data value. Yes, the value and the value of the variable may change during program execution. So, suppose you initially you might have used integer sum is equal to 0, while suppose you are adding sum of 3 numbers. So, the value of sum keeps on changing. Suppose if you are you are having number 1 is equal to 10, number 2 is equal to 20 and number 3 is equal to 30. Suppose if you add all this, first time it will be sum, any sum will be assigned to 10, then 10 plus 20 becomes 30 and 30 plus 30 becomes 60. So, the value of variable sum keeps on changing. So, it is not constant, but if you declare a variable as a constant, the value will always be constant. So, a variable is a data name that is used to store a data value, and the value of the variable may change, it may change or it may not change also there. So, examples are lower limit or lower underscore limit, both are valid, income tax or income underscore tax. So, invalid variable names. So, 1, 2, 3, as we will see what for naming the variables there are some guidelines we need to follow. So, the variable name should not begin with a number, should not begin with the special character. Yes, only one special character that is allowed is the underscore character. Yes. So, 1, 2, 3 is not allowed, area as we are using parenthesis it is not allowed, then it is before the T we are having a special character percentage, that is not allowed, and 7th Jan, again 7 is a what you can call the 7 is a number. So, it is invalid variable. Yes. Now, what are the guidelines for naming a variable? So, we should remember the following guidelines, we should follow these rules and regulations for naming a particular variables. So, always variable must begin with a letter, it may be any letter between A to Z, uppercase or a lowercase, whatever it is. It should be a underscore, underscore is allowed as a first character, where underscore is it is not hyphen, it is not minus. So, it is allowed as a first character. Yes, variables are identified by only first 32 characters. So, the length of the variable name should be of maximum of 32 characters. You can use 32 characters, but only first 8 characters are identified. So, better to have a variable with 8 or 10, you can have maximum limit is 32 characters, but only the first 8 characters are identified, after 8 it is not going to be identified. So, these are the 4 guidelines. In addition to this, the other things, names are case sensitive, variable names they are case sensitive. As we have seen here example, there are 2 variables, total as well as total and total. Yes, total. two totals are there. Total with the first one is a different variable, and total with the caps lock is considered as a different variable. So, the names are case sensitive. So, always use the variables. The practice of using the normal practice what we use for writing C program is we use lower case letters. That is the best practice what we can call. Yes. So, we practice, but even you can use capital letters, but the best practice is we use the lower case letters. So, names are case sensitive. Suppose if you use different variables, different case like total and total. So, it is treated as two different variables, it is not the same. Yes, and the variables should not be a keyword at all. You cannot have a keyword. What is the keyword again? Keyword is nothing but a reserved word, as we have seen, like integer, float, for, if, while and so on. So, we cannot use integer for, float if, float while and so on, we cannot use it. Is it clear? And the variable's name should not have white spaces are not allowed in variables. As we have seen in the example here, see income tax, there is underscore is allowed, whereas we cannot have what you can call a space is not income and tax, or average marks, we cannot have a space between average and marks there. Yes. So, these are the guidelines for naming the variables. So, variable name must begin with a letter, underscore is allowed as a first character, even you can use underscore name, that is also allowed. Variables are identified only first 32 characters, but better to use not more than 8 characters. 8 characters can be used for naming the variables, and the variable names are case sensitive, and no you should not use the keyword as the variables, and white spaces are not allowed. Yes, these are the guidelines what you should remember for naming a variable. So, very important point, you should remember the following guidelines are very important for declaring the variables. Yes. So, we can see one example how we have declared a variables here. Yes. So, main program. So, the main is a program, as you have seen, main is a program, and this is the nothing but we can call the comment. Comment is your program name you can have here. Then declaration, float x comma y, x and y are the variables of type float. Code, integer code, code is of type integer. Short int count, integer count is of type short integer. Amount is of type long integer. Double salary is of type double, and character C and unsigned n is of unsigned value there. So, you can assign any variables of whatever the type you want, you can use it there. Yes. Now, we will see one example. Here we have written a program to check whether the number is less than 100 or not. Yes. As usual, you have declare main program, opening brace. You can have program name of the program. Suppose as you have specified program to check whether the number is less than 100 or not. Then the main program. Yes. Then we are having what you can call declaration part. Integer number. Number is a variable of type integer. Yes, is of type. Then we have message printf, enter an integer number. Yes, any message should be enclosed in the double quotes. Yes, then scanf %d ampersand number. This is what scanf %d ampersand number is used for reading your data from the keyboard. It is a prompt message. Printf is the output statement, whereas scanf is a input statement. So, printf is an output statement. So, you will be displaying a message, enter an integer number. Scanf, so you will be entering the value from the keyboard. So, you will be entering any number. So, the ampersand number is used for storing number is a variable. For that you need to allocate the memory. So, for that memory ampersand will give you the address of the variable number. Next, if number is less than 100, suppose if you enter the number 50 is less than 100, definitely it will give the message. What message it will print? Number is less than 100. Yes. Suppose if you enter the number as 150, so it is going to compare 150 is less than 100, no, it is false. So, the next statement within the else part, that is printf, number is greater than 100. In this way the program will be executed. So, this is a simple program, that is what is used to check whether the number is less than 100 or not. If you enter the number as 50, it will display the message as number is less than 100, or suppose if you display the number as greater than 50, it will display the message number is greater than 100. So, here we are using a simple one of the decision statement, what we can call as if is a decision statement, which will be discussed in the later section. So, if is a statement that will give you it will return the value. If it is true, the message in the first printf statement will be executed, and if the value is false, the message in the else part will be executed. So, this is a simple example for checking whether the number is 100, to check whether the number is less than 100 or not. So, this is simple example. Yes. So, similarly you can write check for, suppose the number, to check whether the number is even or not. Yes, you can write a simple program to check the number is even or not, or even to check whether the number is positive or negative. So, what logic can be used for to checking a program whether the number is positive or negative. So, you can use what you can call to check, instead of as in the same program as you have used what you call number is less than 100. Yes. So, you can use number is less than 0, you can use number is less than 0. If you enter the number as negative number, yes, then naturally it will give the number as negative number, or if you enter the positive number, then you can give, you will get the message as number as positive number. So, you can write a simple program to check whether the given number is positive or negative. So, the same program, just you can do slight modification, that if you can, if number is instead of 100, what you get, number is less than 0. If it is less than, suppose if you enter -5, definitely it is less than 0. So, you can display a message number is less than, is a negative number, or suppose if you enter the number as 10. So, you can give the message as printf number is a positive integer or positive integer. Yes. Next, so this is about the first topic. So, the next topic what we need to discuss is operators and expressions. So, what do you mean by a operator? So, there are large number of operators available. So, like we have seen in the previous topic also, arithmetic operators and logical operators and so on that. So, the C supports a rich set of built-in operators. All arithmetic operators are, not only arithmetic, large number of operators are available, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, less than, etc. So, what is an operator? It is nothing but a symbol that tells the computer to perform some mathematical or logical operation. It may be addition, it may be comparison, it may be division, it may be modulus and so on that. So, again the operators we have classified into different types of operators. First one is your arithmetic operators, the relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional operators, bitwise operators and special operators. So, there are 8 types of operators available in C programming language. So, we need to discuss all these types of operators. So, first one is your arithmetic operators. So, arithmetic operators include all your addition operators, subtraction. Yes. Arithmetic operators, it provides all the basic arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. So, addition, adding like maybe of 2 variables or 3 variables, whatever it is, subtraction, 2 variables can be subtracted or 3, multiplication and division. And the new operator here what we have, it looks like a percent symbol, definitely it is a percent symbol, but here the operator is a modulo division operator. So, what is it is going to do it? The modulo division operator, it is going to return a integer remainder. So, what is the integer remainder? That is, for example, if you have 10 modulus 3, so the remainder is 1, that is 10 divided by 3, if the 3 is the quotient and the remainder is 1. So, modulo division is going to give you the integer remainder. So, example of arithmetic operators, suppose if a and b are integers or of or integer variables, and you have assigned the value as a is equal to 25 and b is equal to 4. So, sum of a plus b will be 29, a minus b is 21, multiplication is 100, a division b, the 25 divided by 4 will be 6, but here it will be exact division, real value will be 6.25, but as you have declared the variable as of type integer, the result will be 6, and a modulus b, 25 modulus 4. So, the remainder will be 1. So, this is about your arithmetic operators. So, we shall stop at this point, and remaining other things, the remaining different types of operators like logical operators, relational operators, assignment operators and other operators will be continuing in the next class. Okay. Thank you very much.